Oppenheimer was highly influenced by the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. Each moment I saw Oppenheimer on screen, I was reminded of Arjuna. Oppenheimer, the movie by the genius Christopher Nolan, is being praised all over the world. The movie is a unique craft of screenplay that pushes the audience into the complicated life of the father of atom bomb, J. Robert Oppenheimer. It is a story of the painful situation of a man who is thrown in the middle of a dilemma to choose between humanity and duty, and he chooses the latter. The subject matter of my interest was that Oppenheimer was highly influenced by the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. Each moment I saw Oppenheimer on screen, I was reminded of Arjuna. As we journey through the life of Oppenheimer, we can actually feel the intense pain that Arjuna felt in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. In the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna puts forward various arguments to justify why he shouldn't take part in the fratricidal war between the Kauravas and the Pandavas. Sri Krishna then spoke the Gita to impart the highest knowledge, encouraging Arjuna to fight. A neophyte in the knowledge of Gita may argue that both Oppenheimer and Arjuna were forced to commit mass-scale murder by the teachings of the Gita. However, a knower of Gita knows that Gita is the greatest peace formula available to mankind. How can we understand this contradiction? Bhagavad Gita was spoken to Arjuna, a Kshatriya, a military man who was about to evade his duty. The duty of a soldier is to fight for the sake of his people. This will involve violence. If a soldier is running away from this duty, he will be merely called a coward. Also, even if Arjuna leaves the war would happen whatsoever. All the options to avoid the war were already attempted and turned out to be futile. In such a situation, Gita is saying to perform your duty regardless of how unfavorable it may look like. Otherwise, Arjuna's position would just be like that of a soldier who runs away when the enemies are at the gate. Oppenheimer was a scientist. I don't see Oppenheimer as someone who understood Bhagavad Gita as it is. However, he was a person who had taken refuge of Bhagavad Gita in his tough life. The knowledge of soul that Bhagavad Gita imparts must have been a great consolation for him, especially after the bombings. The two most important purposes Oppenheimer and team were assuming for the atom bomb were either to bomb the Nazis, Hitler's army, or to stop the war, showing this powerful weapon. Both of these made sense considering the cruelty Nazis had performed on the Jews, but unfortunately, Japan came into the picture. By that time, things had already left Oppenheimer's plate. Inventing the atom bomb and creating it should be considered as the duty of a loyal scientist towards his nation, which was fighting a brutal Hitler. It's for certain that if it was not for Oppenheimer, somebody else would have created the atom bomb. Basically, the point is how Arjuna, a great warrior at the point of dire need, lost his composure, and how the message of Sri Krishna, the Gita, brought him to self-realized state in which he could execute his duty peacefully. This message helped him to live dutifully even after the fratricidal war, clearly understanding the meaning of life and not brooding over the loss of his dear ones. Lakhs of humans were killed in both the Kurukshetra war and the atom bomb dropping. Arjuna and Oppenheimer were part of these ghastly events, but both of them were not responsible for the same. They did whatever they did as a mere duty. The message of the Gita holds true not only for a military man but everyone regardless of the occupation. Gita is told in the most ghastly setting of that of Arjuna, wherein he is forced to kill his own beloved teacher, grandfather, cousins, relatives and friends. No situation in this material world can be more challenging than this. The Gita takes this highest example to demonstrate how, even in such a face of horror, a person can be equipoised with the most balanced state of mind. If he follows the supreme teachings of Sri Krishna, that's why Gita is a life savior for every single being, because each and every person in this world is seeking for that same state of peace and purpose in their lives, regardless of nationality, religion, caste, color, or creed. The question arises, is it really proper to compare Oppenheimer with Arjuna? The answer that we can arrive at is not only Oppenheimer, but every single human being in this world is like that bewildered Arjuna on the battlefield. One way or the other, everyone is suffering and facing the challenges offered by the nature, big or small. And the Bhagavad Gita from time immemorial has been guiding the true seeker to the most enlightening road to happiness, satisfaction, fulfillment, and ultimate success in life.